Imagine you are out for a hike, or maybe just sitting at a coffee shop with nothing but your phone in your pocket.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, miles away, your desktop computer is silently writing, testing, and deploying thousands of lines of code. It encounters a critical error, debugs itself, negotiates a fix with another system, and just, keeps going.
And you haven't even touched a keyboard all morning.
Not once. Welcome to episode 507 of AI Brief. I am your host, Amin, and alongside me is our co-host, Leah. Our mission today is to explore a massive shift happening right now. We're looking at how artificial intelligence is breaking out of the traditional desktop environment.
It's essentially fundamentally reshaping how we work, create, and interact. The physical boundaries of computing are basically dissolving.
You really are. So, in today's deep dive into the source material, we're going to cover OpenAI taking Codex mobile, a brewing legal storm between Apple and OpenAI, Anthropic's highly controversial developer credit changes, a massive surge in AI public offerings, and finally, the top trending tools to significantly boost your daily productivity.
The core theme we're observing today is really the severing of the tether. For decades, human operators have been physically chained to stationary computers to execute complex, demanding tasks. Now, advanced autonomous AI agents are cutting that cord. We're entering an era of a completely untethered workflow. The machine handles the heavy computational lifting, while the human operator merely orchestrates and directs from anywhere in the world.
Let's start by looking at how the biggest players in the space are actively battling for dominance over this new workflow, beginning with a major quality of life update from OpenAI. They have officially moved Codex beyond the desktop.
Oh, wow, so it's fully mobile now.
It is. It's now available in preview inside the ChatGPT iOS app across all plans. Functionally, this means users can track, manage, and act on long-running AI tasks directly from their phones.
That is a huge shift, so you don't need your laptop open at all.
Exactly. You can monitor live threads, review code changes, provide manual approvals, and even launch entirely new tasks while the actual agent continues to run on a laptop or a remote host back at your desk. Think of it like having an elite project manager in your pocket while your developers, the AI agents, grind away back at the office. You simply do not have to sit in a chair for hours just to keep a complex coding project moving forward anymore.
The competitive context surrounding this release is fascinating too. To make this work safely, OpenAI is utilizing what they call a secure relay layer for the mobile integration.
A secure relay layer. How does that actually function?
Well, imagine an airtight pneumatic tube connecting your phone directly to the development environment on your laptop. It allows your commands to slide right through, but it never exposes your actual computer to the open public internet.
Oh, that makes total sense. So it avoids glaring security vulnerabilities.
Precisely. It syncs seamlessly with other ChatGPT instances, and this is clearly a competitive strike. In their announcement, OpenAI actually took a very specific jab at Anthropic. They stated their new system is, quote, more than the ability to remotely control a single task or dispatch new tasks to your computer.
That is a very direct reference.
It is. It's calling out Anthropic introducing their own remote control feature in February and Dispatch in March, which, gave their model, Claude, its first taste of mobile and desktop accessibility.
While OpenAI is actively courting developers with this unprecedented mobile freedom, Anthropic is currently facing a massive backlash from that exact same developer community over their new agent credit split. Starting on June 15th, Anthropic is fundamentally changing how agent usage is billed.
And this is causing quite a stir, right?
A massive one. The agent SDK and the Claude Prime model will no longer draw from a user's normal subscription limits. Instead, those standard subscription tokens will be strictly dedicated to Claude Code, Cowork, and Standard Chat. If you want to run autonomous agents, you are now placed on a very strict credit diet.
How strict are we talking?
Very. Pro users get exactly $20 a month in non-rolling agentic credits. The max 5X tier gets $100, and the max 20X tier gets $200.
Wow. So while this technically reverses Anthropic's April ban on third-party agents like OpenClaw, it completely removes the compute subsidy that made those subscription plans valuable in the first place.
Right. Wait, let's unpack this for a second. If I am paying for a premium subscription specifically to run autonomous agents, and those agents inherently burn through tokens because they loop endlessly until a task is done, doesn't slapping a strict $20 limit on them completely defeat the purpose of using them? I mean, if an agent hits that wall, it just freezes mid-task?
That is exactly the friction point driving developers away. But the underlying token economics of agentic AI kind of explain why Anthropic felt forced to do this. Traditional chat models operate on a simple stimulus and response mechanism. You ask a question, it generates an answer, and the compute cost is minimal and predictable.
But agents operate in autonomous loops.
Right. They write a piece of code, test it, encounter an error, read the error log, rewrite the code, and test it again. A single prompt from a user can trigger hundreds of API calls in the background over the course of an hour. That autonomous looping completely shatters the financial viability of a flat-rate $20 monthly subscription. Anthropic is basically trying to stop the financial bleeding caused by power users burning thousands of dollars of compute on a flat fee.
That makes sense from a business perspective, but imposing strict non-rolling limits suffocates innovation. Developers can't experiment freely or run complex multi-step tasks if they're constantly watching a $20 meter tick down to zero.
Which is why hundreds of developers, including prominent figures like T3 founder Theo Brown, are publicly canceling their Anthropic subscriptions. And they are doing it right at the exact moment OpenAI is increasing their Codex limits to poach them.
The realization about how astronomically expensive these compute costs are is actually driving a wedge in another major partnership too. OpenAI is aggressively maneuvering against Anthropic, but they might be losing their footing with the biggest hardware player in the world. The relationship between OpenAI and Apple is rapidly deteriorating.
Things are really heating up there.
They are. OpenAI has actually enlisted a law firm to explore legal action against Apple over their 2024 ChatGPT Siri deal. They are potentially looking at issuing a formal breach of contract notice.
Wait, really? Over the Siri integration?
Yes. When this deal was struck during the initial Apple Intelligence launch, OpenAI expected it to serve as a massive top-of-funnel driver. They projected billions in paid signups by giving Siri the ability to route complex queries directly to ChatGPT. However, internal data reveals a massive disconnect in user behavior. Users overwhelmingly prefer to just download and use the standalone ChatGPT app rather than relying on Apple's highly limited Siri integration. So OpenAI is footing the bill for the back-end compute without getting the lucrative subscription conversions they expected.
Apple's upcoming moves provide the broader context for why this friction is boiling over right now. At the Worldwide Developers Conference on June 8, Apple is reportedly planning to open Siri to rival AI providers, specifically Anthropic's Claude and Google Gemini as part of iOS 27.
Which immediately dilutes OpenAI's exclusivity and leverage within the Apple ecosystem.
Exactly. Furthermore, Apple is reportedly furious over OpenAI actively poaching top talent from its hardware and industrial design teams. And this talent acquisition is not just a coincidence. OpenAI is emerging as a potential hardware competitor. With their ongoing, highly secretive deal with former Apple design chief Jony Ive and persistent rumors of a dedicated OpenAI phone launching in 2027, the dynamic has completely shifted. What started as a mutually beneficial software partnership has transformed into a looming high-stakes hardware rivalry.
We are seeing these high-stakes corporate boardroom battles play out, but there is also a rapid expansion of AI happening in consumer applications, creative workflows, and the public markets. To guide us through everything else happening in AI today, let's take a deeper look into the rest of the industry landscape.
Right, so taking a measured look at the broader industry, the velocity of AI integration is accelerating across multiple distinct sectors. First, in the developer space, xAI has officially released Grok Build. This is an initial beta version of their agentic command line interface, currently restricted to super Grok-heavy subscribers.
For those who might not be developers, how does an agentic command line interface differ from a normal one?
Well, a traditional command line interface requires you to type an exact text command, and the computer blindly executes it. An agentic interface like Grok Build actively anticipates what you are trying to construct. It watches your inputs and automatically writes the intervening code or builds the necessary directory structures in the background. It fundamentally changes how developers interact with their operating systems.
That sounds like it removes so much tedious manual work.
It really does.
Right.
Moving to the creative and video AI sector, we are seeing a shift toward collaborative orchestration. Runway has introduced Agent, which is a new agentic assistant integrated directly into their video platform. It collaborates with users throughout complex creative workflows rather than just generating a single clip. Parallel to this, Higgsfield AI launched Supercomputer.
Supercomputer, that is quite the name.
It fits, honestly. It is a cloud-based AI agent designed specifically to orchestrate multiple different AI models simultaneously. Instead of a user prompting one model for an image, taking that image to another model for motion and another for sound, Supercomputer completes the end-to-end creative and marketing task autonomously. It routes the assets between the best available models completely behind the
So
scenes.
you just give it the vision, and it acts as the director for all these different AI models.
Exactly. The concept of digital identity is also advancing incredibly fast. Tavis has launched Image to Replica. This technology builds a fully usable, real-time, responsive digital human from just a single still photo, an illustration, or even a brand mascot.
Wait, just a single photo, no video training data.
No video recording or editing required at all. By extrapolating a 3D facial mesh from a 2D image, it animates the facial movements and lip syncs in real time based on audio input. This allows the digital replica to watch, listen, and hold a fluid conversation.
That is genuinely mind-blowing.
Consumer applications are experiencing similar fundamental changes. The dating app Bumble is actually phasing out its iconic swipe feature. In its place, they are deploying Bee, a new AI dating assistant. Instead of users manually filtering through profiles, the agent handles the matchmaking process, analyzes compatibility, and even handles initial profile optimization.
So AI is literally taking over the dating scene now.
It seems that way. Finally, the public markets are heavily reflecting this technological shift, specifically regarding the raw infrastructure required to run all of this. We've seen a massive surge in AI infrastructure companies going public. Cerebras Systems, an AI chipmaker, officially went public, and its stock initially jumped 108% before cooling. It marked the biggest IPO of the year.
And why is the market rewarding them so heavily compared to other chip makers?
It comes down to architecture. Traditional GPUs create data transfer latency bottlenecks when you connect thousands of them together. Cerebras uses a wafer-scale engine, essentially printing one giant unified chip the size of a dinner plate, which drastically reduces that latency. Similarly, Fervo Energy made its stock market debut and popped 33%.
Fervo Energy, they do geothermal, right?
Yes, they are a geothermal startup, and their growth is directly tied to the massive power demands of AI data centers. Geothermal provides the 247 baseload clean energy that data centers require to run nonstop, which solves a critical constraint for the AI industry.
The sheer breadth of these developments is staggering, and there is a profound contrast taking place when you look at the entire landscape. On the back end, you have massive infrastructure IPOs chip makers designing wafer-scale engines and geothermal energy startups, tapping into the Earth's crust, drawing billions of dollars just to generate the raw compute and continuous power required. Then, on the front end, that immense computational power is being funneled into hyper-consumer applications, like an AI agent autonomously managing your dating life by replacing the swipe. The entire stack, from the physical power grid to personal romance, is being rewired simultaneously.
It really puts the scale of this technological shift into perspective.
It does. Let's translate this macro industry news to actionable software you can use today. There are several trending tools available right now that can directly streamline your own workflows. Instead of just listing them, let's explore exactly how they function and the specific friction they eliminate in a real-world use case. First up is Unwrap Customer Intelligence.
That sounds geared toward product teams.
Very much so. If you are staring at a chaotic mountain of unstructured customer feedback, thousands of disparate reviews, support tickets, and social media mentions, this tool uses natural language processing to cluster similar complaints and extract actionable insights. It instantly turns noise into a cohesive product roadmap.
That would save hours of manual data sorting.
Absolutely. Next is Recraft V4.1. This is an image AI tool tailored specifically for designers who require highly photorealistic images or very specific illustration styles. Unlike standard generators that produce static raster images, Recraft gives users immense vector-level control.
Oh, so you can actually adjust the individual elements within the generated graphic.
Precisely. Third is the Notion Developer Platform. For teams operating entirely within Notion, this open platform is perfect for building custom internal applications. Because it hooks directly into your existing workspace data, you can build specialized tools like a custom CRM or an inventory tracker without ever migrating your data to an external service.
Keeping everything in one ecosystem is always a huge plus.
Definitely. Then we have AutoScientist. Created by Adaption, this is a fascinating look at AI being used to build AI. It automates the tedious, repetitive steps involved in training new AI models. By utilizing evolutionary algorithms, it actively tests, evaluates, and optimizes its own neural weights and architectures. This drastically reduces the manual engineering hours required to train a custom model.
AI training itself, that is wild to think about.
For the creative sector, there is Brick. This empowers creators to easily generate and share high-end interactive design tools. You simply describe the interface you want, and the AI generates the underlying code and user interface. It allows anyone to build interactive web elements without needing to know front-end development.
Lowering the barrier to entry for design, I love that.
We also have Omni. This is a powerful tool for marketers and creatives to transform a basic foundational vision into a stunning, finalized video production. It handles the multimodal pipeline, taking a simple text prompt or rough storyboard and managing the generation of assets, motion, and audio in one unified space.
So it's an all-in-one production studio.
Exactly. For professionals bogged down in back-to-back meetings, Speller is a must-have. It operates locally in the background of your calls. By transcribing the audio in real time, it feeds the text into a localized language model to provide live communication tips, auto-generate concise summaries, and automatically extract action items and tasks the moment the call ends.
That is incredibly practical for remote workers.
Finally, Hume. For developers building voice interactive applications, Hume allows you to embed deep emotional intelligence into voice models. It analyzes the prosody, the rhythm, stress, and intonation of speech, allowing the AI to detect frustration, joy, or confusion in a user's voice and adapt its own responses accordingly. This ensures that customer interactions feel nuanced and natural.
What is remarkable about this specific collection of tools is how they collectively function to eliminate friction between having an abstract idea and achieving a finalized execution. By automating the highly repetitive or technically tedious aspects of a workflow, whether that is manually parsing through thousands of customer reviews, manually adjusting neural weights, or summarizing an hour-long meeting, these tools free up the user's cognitive load. They allow you to focus entirely on higher-level strategic thinking and creative direction, leaving the mechanical execution to the AI.
That is exactly right, and it brings us to the close of today's analysis. I want to leave you with a final thought to consider, building on everything we have covered. With AI agents now capable of running complex coding tasks remotely from our phones, orchestrating our video editing pipelines, and even taking over the matchmaking process on our dating apps, we are rapidly approaching a strange new paradigm. What happens to society and to our digital economy when the vast majority of our digital interactions are no longer human to human or even human to machine, but simply our personal AI agents silently negotiating with other AI agents on our behalf?
That is a profound question to end on.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the source material. Please remember to follow and share the podcast so you never miss an update. See you in the next episode.
Goodbye, and thank you for listening. Be sure to